We're back in New Orleans meeting some people I know telling us their stories about the last couple years since the city flooded. Today it's David Torkanowsky, pianist, composer extraordinaire, jazz, R&B, funk, whatever you like. His dad was a symphony conductor, his mom was a flamenco dancer, and he's a character and a half. So Tork, what brought you to the Hotel Montleon in the days after the storm?
I waited too long to evacuate. I was securing my house and I didn't feel like staying on the highway for 8 hours to drive to Baton Rouge. I knew the family that owned the hotel, and it's been here since 1886, so I figured it's not going anywhere. I evacuated vertically, like many New Orleanians have done in the past.
Yeah, and what
I mean,
floor?
all the hotels open up, you know, to pets and animals. It's kind of cool.
What floor were you on?
The 12th.
Well, let's go see what evacuating vertically felt like.
All right, good.
You knew this family from having played here, at gigs here?
Right, and you know, my mother was a flamenco artist who, her troupe danced here as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
See, the thing is, the hotel didn't have any electricity except for the elevators and some hall lights. There was no AC, so the rooms were very stifling. And everybody was gathered around on these steps at a little AM radio. In the beginning, it was a sense of kind of refugee community. You know, you might think evacuating to a hotel, oh yeah, really rough, but the conditions were, you know, not very hotel-like.
And they were getting worse day by day?
It really did degenerate. There were two events, it's important to understand. The hurricane, this was the right decision. When the levees broke, right after, and the water came up, this was not the place to be.
Well, why don't you take me to your room?
All right, it was right over here.
I mean, back then.
Carry.
Did you have running water?
Didn't. They told us to fill up the tubs while the power was still on for any drinking water we might want. I'm not sure I want to drink out of a hotel tub,
Well,
so...
beats the toilet.
Yeah. This is kind of where we passed the storm. And this building that had been here since 1884, I'm not exaggerating, the chandelier moved this much during the storm.
Yeah.
And you know, you kind of felt like you were in Whittier during the earthquake or something. I mean, it was pretty amazing. What had happened is little bits of the Superdome roof had broken off and become projectiles and took out all the windows in the downtown area high-rises. Now, later on in the day, there was something kind of touching. There was a little flotilla of little flatboats with, I can only describe as rednecks, being led by a tugboat down the Mississippi River going to rescue people in the Ninth Ward. It was kind of touching.
So just going past your window like that.
Right.
And were you just sitting in here all day looking out at that?
I was. I did manage to get WWL radio to report a fire, what I thought was a fire at the aquarium right there.
How does the aquarium have a fire?
Well, that's what I don't know. But apparently it was a diesel generator just on the other side of it. I mean, look at the big puff of smoke. Either that or the aquatic life just elected a new pope. I wasn't sure. These roofs, these flat roofs you see, were peeling up like fabric being taken off of a stripper, if I may say so.
And that was still wind, or that was water happening?
No, that was violent wind.
Wow. Were you scared?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I left that afternoon while there was still gale force winds. And you can see Canal Place over there where I had my vehicles parked. And I took my four-wheel drive truck and made it to my house. And it was at that point I noticed that there were geysers in the middle of the street, the diameter of manholes that were about 4 feet in the air, and water was coming into the city. And I thought, something ain't right. Thursday, this is the day after I left, they put everybody out on the street. They had to walk to the convention center.
Right. So what drove you out of this hotel?
Gunshots.
How did you get out of here?
My car was parked in Canal Place. I went and got it, and the scene
Wait, you went and got it. You walked?
I walked. I was going to do it Tuesday night, but it was pitch black. And they were just outside where you could see from the hotel. I heard there were gangs, people getting robbed at gunpoint. And I said, well, you know what? I'll wait till tomorrow morning. There was a mob scene out here. Cars coming and going. There were news photographers. You know, I went and got my car because I was bringing a family to the Houston airport. The water's edge ended at Bourbon Street. From here to the river was dry as far as flood.
Okay, so a lot of people are coming here because this is dry land.
Correct. So any car that pulled up, people were banging on the hoods, please take us, please take us. And you know, my car was full already with belongings and people I was already taken out. So it was weird. It was like the evacuation of Saigon or something.
And you're driving through a crowd of people.
Yes, it was definitely Soylent Green trying to get out of here. And luckily the ramp to the bridge was high ground between here and there, so I didn't have any water to traverse. And then once we got up on the bridge, all we had to deal with was the Gretna police shooting over our heads.
And you experienced that too?
I heard it.
You heard the shooting?
Yeah.
And what did you think when you heard it?
I thought, am I going fast enough? And I went to different musicians' houses who asked me to go get their instruments.
You're doing that while the city is still watered, as the
right, but I had a four-wheel drive truck so I could get around, and I manufactured credentials at Kinko's and bought a little flashing yellow light for my truck, put in my window, disaster response team leader.
So you're doing this for how many days?
2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. You're just going to get musician stuff?
I'm going to check on my mama's house. I'm checking on my house. Some of it's with canoe. You know, I remember paddling in a canoe and hitting an underwater obstruction, thinking it was the top of a car, and it wasn't. It was
a body.
Mm-hmm.
Who else were you seeing? Other people? Who else were
people that stayed throughout, that defied National Guard guns in their face. You know, these people just over from Iraq. I'm going to tell you again, one more time, sir, you have to go, you know. So it's scary. I worked on my mother's house first, got that happening. Then that was about a year ago. And I'm finishing up my house now.
So 2 years?
Yeah.
Nice 2 years.
I mean, so many of my friends lost family members and irreplaceable instruments in this storm. I didn't lose anything I can't buy at Home Depot, so I'm very lucky.